How's it going, guys? Cameron here with Canadian Gamer coming at you with another video. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all enjoying that beautiful weather out there wherever you are. I've actually got today off, which is a rarity, so I'll take it. And I wanted to actually, start doing some more discussion pieces on the channel. And we're going to sort of start things off today talking about social media addiction, not necessarily pertaining to the gaming community, but it definitely falls into that category as well. So I wanted to just sort of share my own personal experiences, and at the end maybe leave the door open to conversation. And as a matter of fact, there's a nice chap out there in the community. DVD Fever Games, one of the nicest guys in the retro community. So if you are watching this, man, I would love to hear your take on it because I really enjoy your content, and you've usually got really good hot takes on these things. So yeah, where do we even begin? Back when I was young, in the early '90s, social media wasn't even a thing. That didn't really become a big thing until like not even the late '90s, probably the early 2000s. And even then, I can remember when Facebook sort of first became a thing. It was not what it is today. It was not even close to being the same thing. Actually, if you want to go back even further, we used to have a program on our computer called ICQ, and it was like the first of its kind. It was a messaging service. You'd log on to your computer at home, and you have a list that would come up. Then you could chat with people, either friends or people that you met online through ICQ. It was really cool. And then ICQ was quickly eclipsed by another program called MSN Messenger. Who can forget MSN Messenger? And then I think a lot of corporate companies out there, even still to this day, use something similar to MSN Messenger. And then there was a bunch of other copycat messenger programs that came out as well. There was Yahoo Messenger, AOL Messenger, etc., etc., etc. And then social media continued to evolve. I remember mid 90s, I always had a BlackBerry device, a BlackBerry smartphone. Back in the day, we didn't call them smartphones, we just called them Blackberries, or some people would call them Crackberries. And when you had a BlackBerry, it had BlackBerry Messenger as well. So again, you can just see how far back this goes. And then we fast forward to modern times, today's day and age, and social media is just such a huge thing for a lot of people, in a lot of people's lives, excuse me, from all ages, not just young people these days. You get like an older person, maybe in their 60s or 70s, and they've learned how to adapt to modern times, and they're posting family photos on Facebook or Instagram, and they're able to communicate with their relatives, using a webcam-based service on their computer. You can talk to somebody from another country. So it is a unique thing. Lots of advantages. However, there are a lot of disadvantages when it comes to social media. And the biggest issue would be addiction. Now, you might be asking yourself or asking me, how could social media be an addiction? Well, we're going to talk about that a little bit today. So, full disclosure, I can't speak for any. Well, I guess I could, but for myself, I have Twitter. Now, I don't really use it other than for direct messages, DM purposes. I don't really. You can look at my Twitter feed if you want. I'm not subscribed to anybody, 0 subscribers. I do have a few subscribers, not a whole lot. Mainly people that are connected to my YouTube channel, I want to presume. And then I've got my YouTube channel. That's it. I've got one Twitter account, not two. And I've got one YouTube account. Keeping it simple. I don't have Facebook. I don't have Instagram. Okay, I'm not on all these social media platforms. I don't have TikTok. I don't even know what else is out there. I can't keep track of it. So the reason why I do that is because I want to have social media excluded from my life whenever possible. I do not want my phone going off at all hours of the day. I've got notifications turned off for YouTube, so the only time I really see the notifications is when I'm on my computer looking at the notifications manually. And then again, as far as Twitter is concerned, I'm not following anybody, so I don't have a timeline, and there's nothing for me to gravitate towards and look at. So, different strokes for different folks, but this is just something that I found works best for me, because at the end of the day, I had to pull back a bit because I found specifically Twitter was becoming too much of a distraction in my life. I'd always look at the timelines. I'd see people posting tweets. I'd feel the urge to respond. It got to the point where I was just constantly refreshing my feed. I'm like, no. This is extremely unhealthy. Okay, when you're outside in the real world, you don't want to be walking around with your head down, facing, looking at your phone while you're walking through an intersection. You want to have your head up. You want to be looking around. You want to be able to, appreciate what's in front of your face, not just stare at your phone all day. And you want to be aware of what's going on around you. So, you guys have seen it. There's people that live on their phones. Their head is always down. They're always looking at their social media. They're completely addicted. Now, I know one guy who I've known for several years. And, not to name names, it's really not the point of the conversation. But, he is a full-blown social media addict. I think his girlfriend promotes herself as a social media socialite or an influencer, if you will. So he's sort of already groomed into this sort of culture. And this guy, he's got, I think, 3 or 4 YouTube accounts. He's got his main account and he's got a bunch of spare accounts. And then he's got 2 Twitter accounts that I know of. And on his spare Twitter account, he's got over, I believe, 6,500 people he's following. So that's a red flag right there, okay? And I talked about this with PK in the universe. If you're following that many people on Twitter, that's alarming. That tells us what we need to know right there, that you're addicted to social media. How could you possibly have over 6,500 or whatever the number was people you're following on social media? And the person had over 1,000 people following him. So it's that's just his spare account. And then he's got his main Twitter. So I got to presume on his iPhone or maybe his Android device. And he's got all his accounts linked up so he can rotate between them as he goes through his feed all day. And then the guy's on YouTube. He's in comment threads at all hours of the day. He's posting comments everywhere. He's interacting with everybody on social media. He's in everybody's DMs. This is just an example. And this is not necessarily somebody that was in the gaming community. This is just somebody I happen to know. And mentioning this is not to knock the person. Anybody can get caught up in it and go down this rabbit hole of social media addiction. And the next thing you know, it affects your personal life. You're ignoring your significant other. You're ignoring maybe a family member or a friend, maybe a child in your life. Maybe you've got a son or a daughter. Maybe you've got pets in the household. I don't know. But you're so wrapped up in social media that, let's say your significant other's trying to have a conversation with you and you're ignoring her or him. And you're looking down at your phone and they can tell you're not listening. So social media can absolutely affect your relationship. Nothing worse than going out for dinner and your significant other is pulling out their phone. Can you not put the goddamn phone away for 5 minutes? It's just on and on and on and on and on. And, this person, they were constantly trying to engage with people on Twitter. They were, reaching out to, Joe Biden, Justin Trudeau, Elon Musk, Barack Obama. Do you seriously think these people are going to respond to you? Who are you talking to? So that's a red flag. That tells us right there that the person is a social media whore, pardon my French, okay? And they crave the attention. They're looking for attention. They're trying to get somebody's attention. So these are red flags. If you see somebody out there that has these characteristics or these traits, or they're a social media whore, as I like to call it, maybe you should approach them and have a conversation. Maybe you should talk to some other people and maybe stage an intervention. It's not healthy. And look, we've all been guilty of it, okay? Yes, I've been on YouTube before at night binge watching videos on my subscription feed, okay? Even I've had to pull back on that. I've had to unsubscribe from a lot of channels because, again, it can be a negative distraction on your life. You know, you don't need to be sitting there at work scrolling through your Twitter feed when you should be doing the task at hand. You don't need to be going out for family outings and meanwhile you're paying attention to your phone. It's extremely unhealthy. So, you know, what are things you can do to sort of curb the addiction? I mean, I don't know. This is a question you'd have to ask yourself. For me personally, again, I don't have a social media addiction, but I try to have as much distractions in my life, good distractions, as much as possible, whether it be going outside for a bike ride, getting in my car and going for a drive, going into the city. Sometimes I'll leave my phone at home, and that's another big problem. A lot of people out there are so attached to their phones, they literally sleep with their phones. They can't put their phones away. It's just absolutely insane. You know, back in the day, again, DVD fever, if you're watching this, you're about the same age as me, maybe a little bit older. Back in the day, we didn't even have cell phones or smartphones or tablets or computers. You went out on a road trip with your family. If you got a flat tire, that was it. You got out, you walked down the road and asked for help, nearest gas station. Okay, you weren't on your phone. Okay, we used actual maps, paper maps. We didn't use Google Maps. You know, it's funny, I'm subscribed to a channel, Harry's Garage. He's a famous automotive journalist, co-founder of Evo Magazine. And he posts road trip journeys on his channel with many of the supercars that he owns. And it's really cool to see him travel across Europe because he brings an actual map with him. It's almost a breath of fresh air to see that. And the guy can't stand, I don't think for the most part, other than his YouTube channels, he's not big on social media. You know, and social media can trickle down into other things as well. You know, now it has sort of, speaking of automotive and cars, it's infested the automotive world where, you know, when you get into your car, you've got a huge navigation screen that pops up with the option to sign into your Twitter and your Facebook and your YouTube and microtransactions this and DLC that and microtransactions this and all the rest of it. It's just really unhealthy. I think I saw an article or I watched a video a couple of years ago about a family that tried to distance themselves from social media. They tried to do it for like 2 years straight, where they cut off the internet in their household. No phones allowed. Basically cut off communication from the outside world. Do you know how many people would not be able to do that for a day? You'd be surprised. People that go with it, that let's say your power goes out and you have no internet at home, people start to have complete meltdowns. It's absolutely ridiculous. So, yeah, just a bit of a conversation piece. But if you're one of those out there that has, you know, social media accounts on all the platforms, not just Facebook, not just YouTube, you've got all of them, because God knows how many there are these days. And if you're spending a good chunk of your day on Twitter, okay, or you're on Facebook, or you're on YouTube and you've got multiple YouTube accounts, maybe it is time for you to sort of reevaluate the priorities in your life, because that's not healthy, okay? I feel unhealthy having one YouTube and one Twitter account. Could you imagine having 2 Twitter accounts and 3 or 4 YouTube accounts? That's an immediate red flag. Now, fortunately, there are social media addiction counseling clinics out there. You could probably just go to an addiction counseling clinic and they could probably treat you for your social media addiction. But the worst thing you can do, though, is listen to this video, know that you have a social media addiction, and be in denial about it. And that's the thing with addiction, not just social media, drugs, alcohol, all the rest of it. If you've ever met someone in your life who was an alcoholic or a drug addiction, then one of the main traits of an addiction is denial. People do not want to deny that they have an addiction in their life. They want to just throw it under the bus. No, 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 I don't have an addiction. Who, me? No, 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 no. Same with social media. Absolutely, 100%. But I'm telling you, if you can distance yourself from social media or cut it back as much as you can, you are going to have a much more valuable and enjoyable lifestyle. You're going to enjoy life a hell of a lot more. So I'm going to leave it there, guys. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. What are your thoughts on social media addiction? Do you have a problem? Do you know other people that have walked in and out of your life that have a similar addiction as well? Let me know in the comments below. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day. Take care.